This week, Jim thinks DeWalt has a winner on their hands.
Dave adds a bit of flex to his collection.
TBB finds the best circular saw of 2022.
We had $2,000 in Ego to a price shelf. This crazy tape breaks $2 million on Kickstarter, and much, much more.
This is your Power Tool Week in Review.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ohio Power Tool, Pro Tools, Pro Service at the best prices at ohiopowertool.com. And Ego, power beyond belief.
Welcome back, Power Tool fans. I'm Rob.
And I'm Sarah, and we've got all of this week's Power Tool news. However, if you're here in the first 60 minutes after our show goes live at 5, you could win one of our weekly $50 gift cards. Details are below, but first we have to start with the Rob Robillard and his team of talented tool testers. This time around, they set out to determine which circular saw is the best of 2022. And as with every Toolbox Buzz head-to-head, this was some serious business. Now specifically, Rob was looking for the best cordless 7¼ inch circular saw. The contenders come from DeWalt, Hilti, Makita, Metabo HPT, Milwaukee, Rigid, Ryobi, and Cobalt. The testing was as thorough as we've grown to expect from TBB, including accuracy, power, speed, all measured through a series of tests and custom rigs built by his team of pros. These are always fun to watch, so no hints this time. When you've got 32 minutes, head over to Toolbox Buzz.
James Robert Davis, American cartoonist and tool tester, is back testing drills, this time getting his hot hands on the all-new DeWalt DCD800 XR drill driver. The drill has only just hit the shelves at Home Depot, and Jim was fast to get it first. He runs it through his typical testing up against the 791 that is replacing, the Flex non-turbo model, and the Milwaukee non-fuel model as well, keeping the competition firmly in the mid-tier category. There's actually a lot to unpack in this comparo after drilling some fairly large holes with spades and auger bits, driving some huge lags, even measuring the torque with a Quinn unit, and the numbers don't disappoint. This is important as Jim reminds us that DeWalt likes to measure the power of their tools in unit watts out, which is a unit of measurement that they made up, which is super useful if, like, I don't know, if you work in a DeWalt lab, I guess. Anyways, for the rest of us, Jim does a great job of laying out the numbers you should see before choosing your next drill. The whole story is over at Philly Fixed.
Swinging over to Mancaver Tools, Dave continues to put his new Flex tools to the test, this week focusing on the Flex drill driver. This is his first video with this drill, in which he usually introduces the tool, specs, and then proceeds to break in the tool with a bunch of over-the-top tests. This often leads to lockups, smoke, overheating, and this time it was no different. But of course, as with any first-time tool, Dave's just getting started. He's got an entire wall of drill drivers to test this against and many head-to-heads in the coming weeks. But for now, you can get his first impressions and a taste for all of the trials ahead all over at Mancaver Tools.
Clint over in the Tool Review Zone got his hands on two of the most interesting new HP tools yet from Ryobi. Now, I know that Clint likes to pronounce it Ryobi, which is fun. And he recently told me to my face that he says that just to get me upset. But I'm not, all right? It's all fun and games. I can be fun, but it's Ryobi, okay?
Rob?
What? Sorry. I'm good.
Okay.
Anyways, Clint's been testing the new Ryobi 10-inch HP cordless sliding compound miter saw and the highly anticipated Ryobi 8¼ inch cordless table saw. And as I mentioned before, these are both Ryobi 1+ HP models. The HP stands for hold on, partner.
Nope.
Because even cowboys can put these to use on the job site, or something like that. It also means that when you use their high-performance batteries, you'll get better performance. Clint spent the day testing all of the various features on both saws and found them to be rather good. Not only was performance up to par, but he was quick to point out that these tools are far more affordable compared to the pro tools he's used to using. He did, however, have a few minor gripes, like a slow startup on both saws, a slow break on the miter saw, but he loved the fence, the adjustments were easy, and both tools were square right out of the box. Clint also mentions that the sheet of plywood he used for testing was around $3,500, so to recoup some of that cost, he'll be selling scraps to viewers. So if you could use a few pieces, head over to Tool Review Zone.
In case you missed it, Rob and I were visiting our friends at Hart last week, which is why last week's show was shot in the lobby of TTI, home to Hart, Ryobi, and Rigid. We were there to shoot a Talk Shop live event for Hart and Walmart, where we got to build a project and talk with viewers about the Hart line of DIY tools. That was a ton of fun, and it was only supposed to be up for 24 hours. Yet, as of Wednesday this week, it was still up, so if you want to go check it out, you can do that. But that wasn't the only reason that we were at Hart. Last Thursday, we joined a bunch of our power tool buddies for a Hart Outdoor Power Tool event, where we got to try all of their latest OPE tools and saw the unveiling of their all-new riding mower. That thing has 80 volts of power and drives like a race car. At one point, Rob was racing Kenny from PTR, and even after they both cheated, I feel like they probably actually tied.
Wrong.
I also got to use chainsaws, which is always a good time. We'll be publishing a video next week detailing our experience, so be sure to keep an eye out for that.
We have an empty prize shelf.
You mean we had one?
That's true. Thanks to James and our friends at Hayes Machinery, we now have our first outdoor power equipment prize shelf filled with $2,000 worth of Ego goodies, including their 21-inch select cut mower, their power head with several attachments, and much, much more. And of course, thanks to our production crew sponsor, Spyder, the winner that chooses that Ego shelf will also receive several Spyder drill bits, blades, and such, all of which you can shoot out of the crazy 765 CFM blower.
Boy, does that sound safe.
If you're new to the channel, once a month, Sarah and I go live on a Saturday and randomly choose a channel member from our ranks. We call them, and then we let them pick one of 4 shelves, each one with over $2,000 worth of new power tools on it that they can take home with them. For more details, check out the description.
We're also excited to be working on our second month of Shop Class Heroes, where we give at least $1,000 worth of new power tools to a shop class that could use it. We encourage our members to chip in each month if they're able, and this month we have some unbelievable contributions from Scott Morris, Cliff Layton, Austin Patrick, and Gary Nansel. These fine gentlemen together donated an unbelievable $1,000 to this month's class, which means we'll be spending $2,000 so far on these kids. I don't even know what to say to you guys. It means so much to us that you want to do good for others, so thank you. If any of you would like to add to that number, you can find a donation option at the bottom of our merch store at shop.beltsandboxes.com.
That is so amazing.
I know. Thank you so much, guys. All right, we've got a couple more videos to cover before we go, starting with Pro Tool Reviews, where Josh tries out the new Hilti Neuron 22-volt hammer drill. It's exciting to see these new Neuron tools show up in tool test. After putting the drill to work, Josh found a lot to like about the new Pride of Liechtenstein. This is the new Hilti Neuron SF6H-22, boasting over 700 inch-pounds of torque and 2,000 no-load RPM. But beyond the power, Josh liked the rubber bumpers, LED light placement, and the all-metal chuck. Now, there were a few things he didn't like, but none of them were deal breakers. Of course, being Neuron, the drill has a heavy focus on safety with their active torque control, which is incredibly important to trace people who will be using this in concrete every day. Of course, the PTR team got a whole crate of new Neuron tools, so be sure to subscribe while you're there so you don't miss any of them.
Last of all, a few weeks ago, we had a special visitor here at the Belts and Boxes studio, Christian Reed, CEO of Recon Tools. He came by to show us their latest innovations in construction data collection. This is the T1 Tomahawk digital tape measure. It comes on the heels of their first product, the hugely successful M1 Caliber, a digital gauge for your miter saw. Now, the Tomahawk is not your father's tape measure. This thing is a bit of a beast, but not a single inch of space is wasted. Besides the obvious digital readout, there's a genius e-ink screen that allows you to instantly document your measurements on the fly, and that's just the beginning. Christian gave us a full demonstration that we're going to be sharing in a future video, but trust me, this thing almost defies explanation, and the rest of the world seems to agree with me so far. They launched their Kickstarter campaign only a few weeks ago, and it's already at a staggering $2.2 million with nearly 10,000 backers. And there's still 29 days yet to go. When it launches, the T1 will cost $259, but the earliest of adopters were able to get theirs for as little as $189. And as of today, you can still get one for $229. Now, we've been using the M1 and a prototype of the T1 for the last month or so, and they're both ridiculously cool tools. I'll be honest, when I first saw this Tomahawk, I thought there was no way I'd want to tape this big, but once you learn to take advantage of all the features, I'd easily make room for it on my tool belt, if only so I never have to write down a measurement on a scrap piece of wood again. If you want to learn more and maybe get one of your own, we'll link to the Kickstarter campaign below.
I don't know how long our show is at this point, but believe it or not, we still had to leave some things off.
We did.
It's been a busy week.
It really was. On Tuesday, we published a breaking news video with new tools from Milwaukee, DeWalt, Ridgid, and Ryobi. Just that breaking news was over 8 minutes long. Definitely go check that out.
I need a nap. If you guys like the show, I'll be grateful for a thumbs up. And of course, if you loved it, I hope that you subscribe.
All right, guys, if you can, go do something kind for someone else this weekend, and we'll see you next week.